Hello, it's your favorite sports Unk here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. It's time to welcome. His birthday was yesterday. He celebrated, so happy belated birthday. He's the owner. He's a co-owner of the iconic smash burger joint, Trill Burger. And if I follow him, and I think he just opened up another one, Trill Burger. Bun B, what it do?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? What's going on? Thanks for having the old man.
Bun, baby. Bun, what's up, baby? What's good?
I see you, Ocho. I see you shining over there.
A little something, man. You know, I got a little lotion on. That's all it is. A little lotion.
Bun, let me ask you this. Let's kick it off with this. Bun, where did you come up with the idea to start Trill Burger?
I didn't come up with the idea. The idea was brought to me by two mutual friends of mine.
Okay.
One that I knew in a previous career as a clothing line designer, and the other I knew in a previous career as a podcaster for the Texans. They both moved into new paths, one becoming a restaurateur, the other becoming a marketing and promotions manager of restaurants. So the restaurateur, Andy Wynn, came up with an idea for a smash burger, but the smash burger phenomenon was already moving on the West Coast. He's from California. He saw the trend starting to move east, and he was like, if I don't catch it by Texas, I'm going to miss the whole smash burger trend. But I don't have as strong a brand out there. I need someone to partner with. And then my other friend, Nick Scurfield, was like, well, I know Bun has had a food blog for many years called YouGottaEatThis.com. Go check us out. And he was like, I know Bun's been looking for an entry point into the culinary space. I didn't want to do a full restaurant because there's so many different menu items and there's so many different ingredients that you have to stock and a lot of things you lose if people don't come in and buy that shrimp in a day or two. That shrimp starts to go bad by day 3 and you lose it. A lot of stuff gets lost. You know what I'm saying? So, but this was a very refined, very simple concept. I went and met up with him. I tried the burger. And I thought not only was it one of the best burgers I'd ever had, I thought it was one of the best meals I'd ever had. The flavor combination is incredible. Anybody that's ever had it will tell you they may have had good burgers, but no one has ever done with a hamburger what we've done. And what I mean by what we've done is we care about it more than I think other people care about a burger. Most burgers are afterthoughts. Something like I got 30 minutes for lunch. Where can I go and get something real quick? Man, I left this club. I'm full of this liquor. I got to try to soak it up with something. You know what I'm saying?
You got to absorb that thing. You got to absorb it, bud.
But we found a real sweet spot, man. We found a way to not only introduce a better product into the public, but also for me personally, a way to transition my cultural equity that I built up in the entertainment industry into the culinary industry in a way that I could capitalize off of it a lot better than I could in the music industry because of the contractual agreements that I signed at a very young age. And with this, I was able to own everything outright with my partners. There was no investors as there was with the record company where you take that advance up front. We did all of this out of pocket. We continue to do it out of pocket. We don't take any money out of the company so that the company can grow, be self-sustained. So we don't need investors. We don't need finances from anybody. And we just try to build something that we believe will last longer than we will.
I like that.
Wow.
Hey, I want to go back with it being your birthday. You turn a young, you're getting younger, Listen, your recent birthday bonanza at Houston Rodeo, obviously it featured a diverse lineup, man. You had Keith Sweat, Don Tolliver, Yolanda Adams. What inspired you to blend hip hop, R&B, and gospel for this event?
We've done a lot of different lineups with my shows at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Last year was the first year that they'd ever had 2 full rap nights. One was my night and one was with 50 Cent and his tour. And it kind of started to get away from what the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, as far as Black Heritage Day, has always been. And that's been a very inclusive evening that was always family friendly. And with some of this rap music, it could get away from being a family-friendly environment very quickly. And so the rodeo was like, look, we would love to reset the bar. Like, we appreciate what your hip-hop contributions and all of the talent that you brought to the stage have done for the rodeo, but we think we need to reset the bar because if we don't, we're going to lose the demographic. And that was the problem with the rodeo before. was that the rodeo had aged itself out. The rodeo did not bring in hip hop and younger music in a timely manner. So they started to age people away from the rodeo, younger people. And when I say younger, this may sound crazy, but when I say younger, I mean like 50 and under. Right. There was nothing that was catering to them. Nothing in popular music was catering to them. Nothing in popular culture was catering to them. And so there became a concerted effort to try to make sure that the people on stage reflected the diversity of the city of Houston, which is arguably the most diverse city in America right now. There's over 100 spoken languages and so many different cross-culture things happening in the city. And so we did a good job of diversifying it, but at the same time, you don't want to leave people out. And I could tell that if we did one more show that was rap-centric, my mama wasn't going to want to come no more. And most people mamas wasn't going to want to come no more because it could be a little much, the way people dance to it. I get it. There's an energy, and we want to bring energy and entertainment, but we don't want to do that and make sure that other people don't get
isolate others.
Absolutely. You know, my mother comes to the rodeo, my siblings, my wife's siblings, our children, our nieces and nephews, and now our grandchildren all come. So I wanted to make sure that I got something there for my mama and my wife's mother that they can relate to, things that we can relate to, my children and my grandchildren. So that's why you get a Keith Sweat for us. You get a Yolanda Adams for the older, more Christian grandmothers and aunties and whatnot. And you get a Don Toliver for a younger artist, Coco Jones for a younger artist. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, for my base, you know, Luda, T.I., we hit them in the chest with that hip hop. So we want to make sure that when people come down, because now it's become a tourist attraction. There's literally thousands of people that come down for this thing now. Yeah. And I want to make sure that they get something.
And look, anytime you know the Triple OG Bun B is on it, you know it's going to be big. And you know he going to do right. He going to do right by H-Town because the H-Town down. He born and bred. He believe in that. And I love that. But I love that the fact that the rodeo came to you and said, we really appreciate it. But let's not get too far away from what we intended the rodeo to be. Because while we're bringing in one demo, we're losing another demo. How can we blend these demos together and grow it? So they still come, more of you guys still come, and guess what? We expand this thing.
And a lot of people didn't really understand it because, you know, I don't tell everybody who's coming. I typically keep about 2 or 3 surprises to entertain people on the spot. So when I was saying, hey, I got Don Toliver and I got Keith Sweat and I got Coco Jones and I got Yolanda Adams, people don't see how that mixes in the room.
Right.
People don't see how those genres blend together. And people really didn't understand the vision. We knew what we were doing the whole time. Right. Yolanda Adams was specifically brought in to be a part of the In Memoriam program where we honored all of the legends that have fallen. And then we thought it was good to have some praise in the room. I feel very blessed to have this opportunity. I've done this 4 times. I've sold over 300,000 tickets in just 4 shows. We're averaging 74,000 people every time we've done this. So it's been a beautiful opportunity, not just for me, for my family, for my business. I've been able to pass it on to other people that grew up in Houston dreaming of doing the rodeo. Now they've actually been able to do it. I grew up at a time where, you know, you didn't even think that somebody that did hip hop music would even be on that stage. And now we exist where I live as an example to the next generation. Maybe one day I can do the rodeo like Bun B. You know what I'm saying? So we understand how deeply this thing resonates with so many different people. And we don't want to let people down, especially right now. I don't want to seem like I'm leaving people out of something because this world is so divisive right now. And,
for sure.
And things are not really as inclusive. And I don't think people understand, no culture is more inclusive as Black people because Black people understand what it's like to be left out. So we don't want people left out of a good time. You know what I'm saying? And we know that you don't need a bunch of money to have a good time. So we try to make entertainment as authentic and realistic and approachable as possible for people. And I think we've been able to do that with the rodeo.
Hey, Bud, you know we've been making stuff out of nothing with no money for the longest time. Hey, we don't need no money.
So when I get $5, it's a party.
Hey, for sure. Hey, we had one of those hood parties, $20. Hey, we got the block lit.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
This episode of Nightcap is brought to you by Cologuard, a non-invasive colon cancer screening test. Did you know colon cancer is considered one of the most preventable yet least prevented cancers. When caught in the early stages, colon cancer has a survival rate of 90%. So screening and early detections are key to reducing overall colon cancer deaths. That's why the American Cancer Society recommends that if you're at average risk, you begin screening for colon cancer at age 45. And a convenient way to do that is with Cologuard test. The Cologuard test allows you to be in control of your colon cancer screening through prescription-based tests delivered to your door with none of the prep that's required for a colonoscopy. No liquid prep, no days off, no invasive procedures. Plus, Cologuard test is affordable. Most insured patients pay $0, and a follow-up colonoscopy is needed after a positive Cologuard test. This is usually covered by insurance also. So if you're 45 years of older and at average risk, you can ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a Cologuard prescription today at Cologuard.com/podcast. The Cologuard test is intended to screen adults 45 and older at average risk for colorectal cancer. Do not use Cologuard test if you have had adenemas, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or personal or family history of colorectal cancer. The Cologuard test is not a replacement for colonoscopies. High-risk patients' Cologuard test in adults 45 to 49 is estimated based on a large clinical study of patients 50 and older. False positives and false negatives can occur. Cologuard is available by prescription only.
Bud, let me ask you this, Bud. When you were growing up, did you go to the rodeo when you were growing up?
Yeah, that was my first concert ever. There's a big inside joke about it. The first concert I ever went to was Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn when I was 3 years old.
I feel Conway Twitty.
The funny
the
story.
The coal miner's daughter, Loretta Lynn.
Yep, my mom had gotten a car wreck, and a man had hit her. And she was very nervous because this was in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? She was a black woman by herself in an accident with a white man. She just knew, for example, that she would be at fault. But the police came. He told the police it was my fault. She did nothing. He took care of everything. And then he asked her, would you like some tickets to go to the rodeo when the rodeo come? And she said, sure. She gave him my information and address, and she never thought nothing of it. And a couple of weeks later, the tickets showed up. And so they took the family to the rodeo, and that was my first concert, my first time ever being in the Astrodome. You know what I'm saying? And it left a lasting memory on me. Like one of my first musical memories is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo concert. And just, over the years, going every different time, my wife shares these kind of memories. My wife saw Michael Jackson for the first time at the rodeo. A lot of people have, you can basically, have a timeline of your life based on different experiences at the rodeo. Sure. The first time you went as a youngster, the first time your parents dropped you off, because it's literally the safest environment you can be in at the rodeo. So there was a time when you get 15 or 16, your mama would drop you off at the rodeo during spring break, and you and your friends could hang out all night and then get picked up later because it was a safe thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a part of many people's lives over the years. And now people actually have a real-time experience at the rodeo. And not just when I perform. We have like a 9,000 square foot installation called Trill Town, where we do the burgers, we do our Trill tenders, we have merch, Trill lemonade, we have a bar, basketball goal for people to play little games, win hats, win merchandise. So we've made it something that everybody that celebrates Houston culture can come in and feel comfortable. I know that there are people from other races that feel funny trying to celebrate other cultures and mixed company because they're not allowed to be as free as they would like to be amongst some of their own people. We provide a night where everybody can come and be who they want to be, and nobody's going to look at you sideways, because in order to enjoy it, you got to leave your prejudice at the door. If you don't like white folks, you can't come, because white folks going to be there having a good time. If you don't like black folks, you can't come, because black folks going to be there having a good time. Straight folks, gay folks, Mexicans, Asians, everybody comes out and they all having a good time. So the only way you can enjoy it is leave your bull stuff at the door. And hopefully we believe that if people have a good enough time with other people of other cultures and make friends and learn things, that maybe they won't pick it up when they leave. And they can leave their prejudices outside forever.
Man, that's live, man. Listen, when you're talking, I can hear the passion and enthusiasm in your voice, the way you're explaining everything. Listen, you've always...
It's a new life, Ocho. It's a new life for me.
Listen, you've always been vocal about social issues. You've engaged in various community initiatives in Houston. Man, what drives you still, in your commitment to always give back to the community? And do you have any upcoming projects that you're excited about that you can tell us?
We in Houston as entertainers, athletes, what have you, we have a different relationship with the public as other places do.
I believe that there are lines that are drawn, cultural lines, neighborhood lines, other things that come into play in other major cities in America where people can't really bond in the way that we bond, right? Like LA has cultural lines. It has neighborhood lines that some people can't cross. So that city can very, very seldom come together and unite. Same thing with New York. Some people might be from Queens or Brooklyn or whatever. In Houston, we had division maybe 25, 30 years ago between the north side and the south side. That doesn't exist anymore. Everybody sees themselves as Houstonians, no matter who you are and where you come from in the city. So we've been able to build a connection with people that's different. People see us in the grocery store. People see us in the mall. People see us in restaurants, at car washes, in the gym. We're very visible and we're very approachable and very personable. So people feel like when they buy our music, they're not just investing in music, they're investing in people, they're investing in neighborhoods, and they look at us as cultural exports. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you come to Houston, we don't brag about who the best Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. We brag about who the best Slim Thug, Kiki, or Bun B. You know what I'm saying? Or Scarface.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of, we have a lot of pride. You know, Texas has always been a self-sustained entity. It was its own country. So we've never felt fully embraced until very recently. Everything we wanted, we had to make it on our own. Entertainment-wise, if you wanted to be a recording artist, you know, a New York label or LA label was probably not going to sign you. So you had to go out. You had to make relationships with wholesalers and distributors and record stores and radio stations and club owners and all of that and make your way. And we all had to do it. So there's a common respect that we all have for each other because we all kind of had to progress that particular path in order to make it. But it's the people. It's not just the artists, it's the people of Houston who don't look at us in that way. Yeah, there may be somebody that's never seen me before and might be excited to get a picture, but if you roll with me through Houston for 12, 14 hours, you hear a lot of, what's up, OG? Hey, what's up, B? What's up, Unk? It's not a lot of, oh my God, oh wow, because we don't put those kind of walls up with people. And that's why the relationship with us is a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as projects, we are opening the second store probably within the next 7 days, 7 to 10 days. The second location of Trill Burger will be open in Spring, Texas. We'll have 2 more locations, but by the end of the year. And I'm currently in Dallas right now with the wife. Mainly so my anniversary and my birthday is 4 days apart, so I would never forget my anniversary. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
So we spent the daytime on the anniversary letting her shop. We spent nighttime with me going to my favorite restaurant. There's a Carbone here. It's the closest Carbone I can get to in Houston. That's my favorite restaurant. So we drove up here. We did a little shopping. Did some dinner with a good friend of mine, and probably look at some locations tomorrow. Ride around Fresno and Plano and a couple of different spots. Looking for a location. But we hope to be in Dallas and Austin by summer next year if lucky.
That's like,
hey, Bun, check this out. What you think about Nightcap at the rodeo next year?
I think there's room to possibly do it at my activation.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Because you have to understand, I don't think many people understand what the rodeo is. The rodeo is a 21-day event. I'm only one night of 21 nights of concerts that take place in the NRG Stadium, the football stadium.
Okay. Yeah.
They average about 65, 66,000 people a night. Easy.
Wow.
So it's arguably the biggest music festival in the world that isn't promoted as a music festival. Because we talk about 21 concerts day after day after day in a football stadium. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge undertaking. Now, that being said, my wife thought of the idea of bringing in a DJ and a DJ booth and some space up there. So there is a stage. Now, next year, we can make it a little bit bigger.
Okay, hey,
we can make it a little bit bigger. That way we can have room for y'all and guests up there.
Yes, absolutely.
Man, what you think about Nightcap at Trill Town? 2 thumbs up.
There it is.
That's what's up. That's what's up, wife. I appreciate that. Oh, we gonna OG, we gonna circle back on this now. We real talk now.
No, I'm open to it because I want to make it a bigger weekend for people. We realize now that, and you look at the music, boots on the ground, and all this other soul that's blowing up right now. That black cowboy country western lifestyle that has always existed is now in the forefront. And my weekend at the rodeo is becoming a big proponent of that. You know what I'm saying? It gives a place that's big enough for everybody. Because a lot of black rodeos, unfortunately, are still smaller They're still growing. They got a lot of momentum and energy, but they're still growing. They're still smaller. My rodeo is the largest rodeo in the world. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't have a larger audience to cater to with that type of movement and motion. My wife brought in DJ Payme from South Carolina. He's the biggest line dance and Southern Soul DJ in the country. And we had people, our space couldn't even hold how many people wanted to dance. They were dancing in the street. You know what I'm saying? It's just such a great way for people to come together and commune. That's what music has always been for people of color. It's always been a reason for us to get together and commune. That, dominoes, playing cards, barbecue, crawfish, those are all excuses for us as a culture to come together and spend time together. We don't even like each other, but if so-and-so, who doing the barbecue? Trey doing the barbecue. All right, I'll come. Who cooking a potato salad? Nisa doing potato salad. All right, I'll show up for that. It's an excuse for us to get together.
I like.
And so I'm looking at that we built something that now gives people an entry point. If you don't know about it, you haven't had any experience, this is a very easy entry point into this cultural representation. But for those of us that know, it's the bat signal.
Like, hey.
It's the bat signal.
When you talk about this, man, I'm thinking about your plate. Boy, your plate is full, man. Your plate is full, man. Listen, your role as a musician, an entrepreneur, you're a community leader. Man, how the hell you balance all these different facets of your career? And what keep you motivated, baby? Because just listen to it. This is a lot. It's a lot.
It is. But I think everybody here on this knows that God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You just got to figure out how to handle it, right? Yes. I have an amazing support system. I have a beautiful, strong Black woman as a wife in my corner. And the reason I've gotten this far is not because I know it all or I can do it all. My wife refuses to settle for a lesser version of me. So when she know I'm not going all the way in and not giving my 100%, she'll hold me accountable.
Ooh, I like.
Wow. She'll be like, you can do better than that. You know you're supposed to be doing more than that. So there'd be a lot of times I want to phone it in, or I'd be like, man, I just want to stay home. Now, why would you do that knowing you told them people you was gonna come? My wife, I can't do it. My wife knows. My wife believes it has always believed in my greatness. Sir. And when I don't live up to it because she talks about it, she holds me accountable. Right. So I go out and do the rodeo and all that, and the next day I got to come home and put the trash out. I got to pick up stuff in the garage. I got to make sure I don't leave the kitchen light on. All those things. We have moments where we are very blessed and we get to see the world and travel the world and do all of that. But every other day, man, we are a family trying to exist, making sure our children, our grandchildren are okay, that we got a good home that's comfortable for us to live in. All I got to do is give her a house and she gonna make a home out of it. That's not even the question.
See you heard what he just said, Unc? You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. See what I've been telling you now. Bun, I'm trying to get him to settle down. Bun, I'm trying to get him to find him a wife. Because listen, the way you talking, the way you explaining things, it shouldn't be hard after hearing what you just said.
But she got to keep up with him, though. That's the thing. Yeah. She got to keep up with him. He got to find a woman that's so busy he get jealous.
Oh, hey, listen, we found someone. Hey, Bun, we found one for him. He interviewed her not too long ago.
Wait till she ain't got no time for him. We gonna find out where he's staying at. He gonna try to spend that money, send that plane, plan that vacation, anything he can to spend time with that woman. When he start disregarding things he don't normally disregard, and them assistants start having to do things that he normally go and do, he got something on his mind. Huh? He got something on his mind.
Hey, I got one more question. This is a good one. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat would love to hear this answer because I definitely want to hear it. Who are your top 5 Houston rappers? Your top 5. Your Mount Rushmore. Now I'm just adding the 5th. I'm gonna make it 5 instead of 4.
Okay. We're gonna start with K Reno. K Reno is the OG of Houston rappers. He's the height. He's the epitome of what Houston rap's foundation should have been built on. So we had the right OGs to start it off for us. Obviously, Scarface, not just one of the best writers and rappers in Houston, but arguably the best storyteller that hip hop has ever had, ever. Very few people, I think only Tupac can really convey emotion through words on a rap song in the way that Scarface does. When Scarface talks about death, you feel that loss. When he talks about friends, Phrase has a song called Suicide. And I'm talking about, I had never heard a song about somebody delving into the psyche of somebody that they thought was okay, but wasn't okay. And then you start to question, making sure you're okay.
Right.
Like this. So the depth of Scarface's writing talents and mentality, man, have been criminally underrated in the world of hip hop. I think number 3, you got to go Willie D.
Oh, Willie
and Willie D.
D
has been about. Willie D is the prototype. Like Willie D is the type of person that when you think of a Houston rapper meeting one in a dark alley, Willie D is who you project mentally. You know, that's somebody that, you know, has stood on all 10 toes constantly, consistently, and still does. The fun thing about watching Willie D, 1, he loved the culture just as much as he always had. And 2, he bought that just as much as he's always been. There's certain things that you can count on, and Willie D being about that life is absolutely one of them. He still leads by example, and he still makes us proud to be from Houston, and knowing that, you know, whatever you say in this world, you better stand on it. Because with some people, it might be a fight with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Number 4, I might have to go out on a limb here, man. I may have to go out on a limb with this one. I don't know how everybody's gonna feel about this, but I think Gangsta Nip may be one of the best rappers from Houston, and I'll tell you why. The only reason that people really didn't get into Gangsta Nip is because of the subject matter. He did a lot of horrorcore. You know, he wrote stuff for Bushwick, and a lot of his stuff was a lot of his music existed in this world of horror and gore and all of that type of stuff. Friday the 13th, Jason, all of that type of stuff. But his flow in the mid 90s, the early 90s, it's some of the best rapping I've ever seen and done in my life. And number 5, I'm not gonna put Pimp here because I feel like Pimp supersedes a lot of things in this argument. I'm gonna go with Killer Corleone. I don't think anybody wants to be the best rapper in Houston more than him. I don't think anybody takes the art of lyricism as serious as he does. Now, we got people that got a lot of motion. Maxo got motion. Megan has got motion. Travis, OT, Walker. There's a lot of people from Houston, young artists, up and coming talent that got art, that have motion and have fan bases and really making major moves. But when we talk about just rapping, like rapping and like looking in a motherfucker's face and meaning what you say when you rap this stuff, I don't think anybody conveys that more than Killer Corleone. I think Killer Corleone could potentially be the best lyricist to ever come out of the city of Houston. He just the problem is he got too much respect for his predecessors. And I feel like in some form or fashion as a competitor, at some point, you can respect the GOAT and still want to beat the GOAT at the same time.
I like it.
We're going to get you out of here on this one.
I'm just waiting for him to wake up one day and say, man, F all that, man. F Bun B and all of them. I'm going for the top. And that's when he'll be the best.
I like it.
Bun, we're going to get you out of here on this one. Which Houston team are you most excited about this year? Your Cougars, your Rockets, your Texans, or your Astros?
Now, that's a great question. That is a great question. It's always easy to be excited about the Cougars because at this point, that's a program that does this. As far as basketball, that men's basketball team does this at this point. They've gone into the last 4 marches being heavily favored. They've made it to the 8 at least 2-3 times. I know the last 2 years for sure. I think they got a great chance of going all the way this season. So, but that's at this point with that program, that's to be expected. These Astros are going through transition. Right, we lost Bregman. That was a hometown hero. We love Alex Bregman. As we lost Correa, we lost a couple other guys. But we always bring in young talent. That's been the great thing about this Astros organization that the Cranes have always brought in and nurtured young talent. They draft well and they build talent up. They don't look to just go out and try to buy a player. They're about winning several. They're not about winning this year. They want to win several years. They've tasted it. They know what it takes to get there, and they believe they can do it. But they're still in a little bit of rebuilding right now. Lost a couple of pitchers, got McCullers back. So we're going to figure it out. They're a perennial playoff team, right? Okay. But it's going to take more this year to get to that final step than I think it has over the last 2 or 3 seasons. The Rockets, my goodness, look at this young team. You talk about
young and talented.
You talk about a talented young team. Tillman has done a great job of being like, you know what? We just got to start over. Like we're not 1 or 2 players away. We're a team away. Right. But he put this team on his shoulders of Green. Jalen is an amazing talent. I think he's a great leader. I think Thompson is a problem. I think he's a beast on that team.
Yeah.
I really think. I haven't got to him. It took a while to figure out how to say his name.
He's nice.
It took a while. To figure out how to say his name. But we got promise with that young boy, and that's what.
Yeah, bro, he for real.
I understand that he grew up in the game of fundamentals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he playing with some dogs. I watched him the other day try to do an behind the back pass. He almost had it. They teaching him that black top ball, right? They don't have to teach him fundamentals. He know how to pass and all. They teaching him black top, no look passes in the paint. When he finds that step, that boy is gonna be a real problem. But I say all that to say this team has everything and man, Udoka. Woo, that was a steal.
He's the right coach. He's the right coach for this young team.
And I understand why he couldn't stay where he was, but I'm so glad he's where he is.
Appreciate it.
I'm so
that's the triple.
At the city love it because they get to see Nia every now and then, so the city love that.
Yeah.
But them Texans, man, them Texans. I think in 2-3 years, man, I think they're gonna be the ones to beat, man. It could happen in the next 2 years. This team is building a strong structure. D'Amico knows exactly what he wants. The organization isn't scared to spend the money to give him what he wants. And they're so embracive of the local culture. They do collaborations with local artists and they bring in different talent to perform at the games. And they allow me to bring my burgers into the stadium. They're doing everything they can to be as Houston-centric an organization as they can be. They're putting the money where it needs to go. They're trying to strengthen that O-line. I know everybody wasn't crazy about losing Tunsil, but I can understand organizationally why they feel they needed to go in another direction. I hear there were locker room problems. There were a ton of penalties, right? A lot of things going on. And I just think they were growing in a different direction. I think that they supplemented the defense. Absolutely. They're probably going to have to draft a little more to tighten up that O-line because they got to protect CJ. They got to protect CJ by all means. I like the Kirk signing. I like bringing Christian Kirk in. I think he's a fast young player. He's got some good talent. He definitely got hands, and CJ can hit him in stride. You know, because I knew we probably weren't going to keep Diggs another season. I don't think we were going to keep him another season, so they had to start thinking receiver. Tank had his surgery. He's a young guy. I think he'll recover quickly. I honestly think Tank will be ready by game one of a 25-26 season. But I think the Texans are a team that everybody has got to circle their calendar dates when they play that team. That defense is only getting better. I'm curious to see what the new OC is going to do. I think that's going to be the big test.
Right.
Is what the new OC is going to be able to create with CJ, but at least they won't be as predictable in year two as they were in year three as they were in year two. Because year one was a lot of surprises. Year two, they pretty much tried to replicate the playbook and people saw it a mile away. With a new OC, I think there's going to be a new approach. I think he's going to find a better way of working with these new offensive line. I feel positive about what we're doing as a team. So I would put it in that order. I would say Cougs, Astros, Rockets, and Texans, 4-1.
Hey, Triple OG, Bun B, bro, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on everything, the Trill Burger franchises, the rodeo, you're a big staple in the community, what you do to uplift your community. We appreciate you. We salute you here at Nightcap. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you down the road.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for doing that drop for the rodeo for me last year, too. I appreciate
always,
y'all
no problem, bro. You know that.
Success. We're going to find some space and put y'all in that Trill time.
Matter of fact,
come bring that Nightcap.
Hold on. Not only,
the people want to see that.
Bun, not only that, let me perform. You know, I can sing now.
So I think we break it up.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Later, OG. Appreciate that.
Y'all, man. Thank y'all, brother. Much more success.